In a quiet countryside village surrounded by golden fields and gentle rivers, lived a kind-hearted young woman named Lila. She was only 20 years old, with warm hazel eyes that sparkled with hope and long chestnut hair that danced whenever the wind blew. Her family owned almost nothing. Their little wooden cottage leaked whenever it rained, and most days they barely had enough money to buy food. Yet, despite their struggles, laughter always filled their home. Lila believed happiness wasn't measured by wealth. She loved reading old books borrowed from the village library and dreamed that one day life would become something bigger than the tiny world she'd always known. She had no idea that one ordinary afternoon would change everything. The annual harvest festival had arrived, filling the village square with music, colorful decorations, and smiling faces. While browsing a small bookstall, Lila accidentally bumped into a young man carrying several baskets. The books scattered across the ground. "Oh no, I'm so sorry," she said, kneeling to gather them. The young man smiled warmly. "No, that was my fault." His name was Adrian. He came from the wealthiest family in the region. His parents owned large farms, businesses, and beautiful estates. Everyone knew his family, but Adrian wasn't proud or arrogant. He treated everyone with kindness. As they talked, they discovered they shared the same love for stories, nature, and simple moments. That afternoon turned into many afternoons. Soon they were walking beside rivers, watching sunsets paint the sky orange, and talking about dreams that only the two of them understood. With every passing day, friendship quietly became love. One evening beneath an ancient oak tree, Adrian gently took Lila's hands. His voice trembled. "Lila, every moment with you reminds me what happiness feels like." She looked into his eyes. "I don't want a future without you." He smiled through nervous tears. "Will you marry me?" For a second, the whole world seemed to stand still. Lila's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, I'll marry you." They embraced beneath the fading sunset, believing nothing could separate them. They were wrong. When Adrian told his parents, their reaction shattered his happiness. His father slammed his hand against the table. "Absolutely not." His mother folded her arms. "She's poor. She has nothing to offer this family." Adrian couldn't believe what he was hearing. "She offers kindness, honesty, love." His father answered coldly, "Love doesn't build a future. If you marry that girl, you will lose everything we planned for you." Adrian stood frozen. For the first time in his life, he had to choose between the family who raised him and the woman he loved. News spread quickly through the village. Lila soon learned the truth. That night, she cried until sunrise. She knew Adrian was willing to sacrifice everything for her. But could she ask him to lose his parents, his inheritance, his future? Days later, she met him beside the river, where they first became friends. She forced a smile. "You deserve a life without constant battles." Adrian shook his head. "My life is with you." Lila's voice cracked. "Sometimes loving someone means letting them go." His eyes filled with tears. "I'll never stop loving you." She gently removed the engagement ring from her finger and placed it back into his hand. The hardest goodbye isn't when people stop loving each other. It's when they still do. They hugged one last time, both pretending to be stronger than they really were. Months turned into years. Life moved on, but their hearts never truly did. Lila worked tirelessly in the village, helping her aging parents and caring for neighbors whenever someone fell ill. People admired her generosity. She had become the person everyone relied upon. Meanwhile, Adrian accepted a demanding job in a distant city. He buried himself in work. Every promotion, every success, every celebration felt strangely empty, because the only person he wanted to share it with wasn't beside him. Still, they never completely disappeared from each other's lives. Occasionally, letters traveled between the village and the city. Simple letters. No promises, no expectations, just reminders that somewhere, someone still cared. One winter, tragedy nearly struck. Lila's father became dangerously ill. Medicine was expensive. Her family had no way to afford it. When Adrian heard the news through an old friend, he didn't hesitate. Without telling anyone, he traveled back to the village. He arrived carrying food, medicine, and enough money to pay for treatment. Lila was speechless. "You didn't have to do this." Adrian smiled gently. "I wanted to. I always will." For weeks, he helped care for her father until his health slowly returned. Watching Adrian care for people without asking for anything in return reminded Lila why she'd fallen in love with him in the first place. Not because he was wealthy, but because his heart was. Soon, Adrian returned to the city. This time, their goodbye felt different. Not painful, hopeful. He promised to write, and he kept that promise. Every letter revealed the man he was becoming. Independent, successful, strong enough to build his own future. Years of hard work eventually paid off. He no longer depended on his family's wealth. Everything he owned had been earned through determination. One evening, he looked at the old engagement ring he'd kept all those years. Then he made a decision. It was time to go home. When Adrian knocked on Lila's cottage door, she almost didn't recognize him. Older, more confident, but wearing the same gentle smile she'd never forgotten. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Lila whispered, "You came back. I promised I would." They spent hours talking beneath the stars, laughing over old memories and realizing something beautiful. Time had changed many things, but not their love. Finally, Adrian took a deep breath. This time, no one decides our future except us. I have my own life now, my own home, my own business. I don't need anyone's permission, only yours. Tears streamed down Lila's face. She smiled through them. I've loved you every single day, and I never stopped waiting. A few months later, they were married in a small countryside ceremony, surrounded by people who truly loved them. The celebration wasn't grand. There were no expensive decorations, no luxurious palace, just laughter, music, family, friends, and two hearts finally becoming one. Adrian's parents refused to attend. For a while it hurt, but eventually even they realized something money could never buy. Their son had found genuine happiness. Years later, they slowly rebuilt their relationship, not because wealth had changed, but because love had softened hearts that pride once hardened. Lila and Adrian built a simple but joyful life together. They worked side by side, overcame every hardship, and eventually welcomed children into their home. As their family grew, they taught them one lesson above all others. Never judge someone's worth by what they own. Judge them by the kindness they carry inside. Their children grew up watching two people who had chosen love over pride, patience over anger, hope over fear. When old age finally arrived, Lila and Adrian often sat together on their porch watching sunsets, just as they had done decades before. Sometimes Adrian would squeeze her hand and smile. Worth the wait. Lila would laugh softly, every single second, because they had discovered a truth many people spend a lifetime searching for. Real love isn't measured by money. It isn't defeated by distance, and it certainly isn't controlled by other people's opinions. When two hearts refuse to give up on each other, love always finds its way home. The end. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next story.